Blended Sense has been around for a better part of a decade, going on 7 years now, and have been brought into a lot of really cool projects, working with some incredible people and some of the craziest parts of the world. And so we're always very kind of taken back by some of the opportunities that we get. And we just had a project that we just wrapped up that takes a backseat to none of those. And so I wanted to be able to share that story because it really is an incredible story that took a lot of people. And so about a month and a half ago, I had received a phone call and a text message from a number that I didn't know, new number, which happens all throughout the day. And so, luckily enough, I found time to listen to this voicemail and read the text as well. And it was a gentleman named Sharon Baum. And what was interesting about Stephen's message was that he said, "Hey, my name's Stephen. I wanted to talk to you guys about a video project. I was referred to you by Barbara Corcoran." Which, Shark Tank, America's Sweetheart, one of the all-time legends in the world of business here in the U.S. and in real estate, and so just a massive individual that we've lucky enough been able to work with a few times through the years, and so immediately I was like, okay, this is let's see what this is, and so found time to connect with Stephen, and it was sort of initially a pretty heartbreaking moment. He let me know that his wife, Sharon, of 56 years, had recently passed away. And the connection to Barbara was that Sharon, out of New York City, was an absolute legend, icon in the world of real estate, entrepreneurship, leadership, New York City, just sort of this like larger than life individual that had impacted a lot of people, not only in New York City, but all around the world. And so Stephen had reached out to Barbara and said, "Hey, I really want to do something special for my wife, my better half, who I've shared this incredible life with. I want to have a celebration of life. I want to get all these people together who can make it, and I want to produce a video where everyone around the world can tell their stories, can speak about Sharon and everything she accomplished." And so, fortunately, with Blended Sense, we have the capacity to execute that. So we immediately got to work and said, "Okay, how many people are we talking about here, Stephen?" And there were people in Los Angeles, people in San Jose, there's people in DC, there's a bunch of people in New York, and then there's a bunch of people scattered throughout the rest of the U.S. and other parts of the world. And so we decided we were going to deploy 5 different productions, Blended Sense Productions sweeps, in 2 in New York City, 1 in Washington D.C., 1 in San Jose, and 1 in Los Angeles for a lot of the close family members, close friends, colleagues, people that had a really deep, long-standing relationship with Sharon. But then there was this element of Sharon had 56 years married, longer than that alive, and left this massive impact. There were so many other people that weren't going to be able to show up to, we weren't able to get a physical camera out to where they were, so we wanted to figure out how do we get more people with an opportunity to film something, but have it be standardized, right? And so quickly added both Albert and Abigail into this dialogue, and Abby kind of took the reins on making sure that everyone across the world was able to tell their story.
I know, because instantly the impact that this video would have on the family is what hit me first, that this is not just something that's going to be shown one time, but it's really going to become a legacy, a memorial piece for the whole family. And I was just so touched that Barbara thought of us to handle such a high profile and sensitive subject person project, and I was just so honored that, man, we've done what we've needed to do to be positioned for this opportunity. So we did not take that lightly. And working with Stephen, he's such a sweet, kind person. And you could just instantly feel who Sharon was through how Stephen spoke about her. And we knew that we got to nail this one. So part of producing this virtually was to make sure that all of these videos would all be consistent and we're working with people who might have never self-taped before. So we created a guide for them with really specific details on how exactly to self-tape and sit and light, and the tips and tricks to get the best quality out of their phones, as well as a guide on how to answer questions and look at the camera and kind of approach this whole thing, and then how to submit that footage ultimately so it could make it onto the editor's table. And we ended up with 11 virtual submissions. Most of those made it into the final full 29-minute legacy video, and all of those are such little gems and pieces of who Sharon was, and I can't believe we got to play a tiny little piece in this incredible life story. I'm just so honored. What gave us even more elation and warm feelings was the fact that a lot of this actually got to be done in person by Albert, who after 2 weeks of traveling and was away from the family, called and said, hey, I have the opportunity to actually be in the room for several of the New York interviews that are set up. And without hesitation, I said, absolutely. Change your flight. Please spend those extra couple days in New York to make sure this happened, because this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for you and for Blended Sense.
I was so proud of you for stepping up and saying that was okay to do, given that I was away for so long. But it was immediately reciprocated, right? It was appreciated because the level of people that we filmed, which I'll get into here, all understood what that sacrifice was. And we're all came into, to the filming session with an open mind and a sense of kindness and just like sociability, right? To even have that conversation with me, to get to that point of knowing, oh my God, I just left my wife and kids for another extra 5 days to be here. And so that was awesome. But, the experience as a whole was flattering. It was inspirational. It was motivational. I'll start with the flattering part. I'm born and raised in New York City, Washington Heights. And to have not just America's favorite shark, but a New York City icon like Barbara Corcoran. And I think Stephen's exact words were without hesitation, right? The moment she heard this idea, her first recommendation and only recommendation was Blended Sense. And so as a New York City kid, so grateful. Barbara, thank you. And Stephen, obviously, thank you for trusting her and bringing us in. But that was super flattering. The inspirational part was getting to hear Sharon's legacy through so many different perspectives. I mean, we had associates, colleagues, we had interns that came in with Sharon, and now their entire life has changed because of the impact that Sharon made in their lives. We had clients that Sharon helped, moms of 2, 3 kids by themselves trying to find an apartment in New York City, and the impact that Sharon made in their lives. We had obviously Stephen's perspective, which was absolutely incredible. We had her driver, Abdul. A big part of Sharon's story was this Rolls Royce with the license plate, sold one. And Abdul was the driver from the beginning and knew Sharon. And he sat down and came in and wrote a whole letter to her. And all those pieces were so inspiring. And then the motivating part was, seeing ourselves, all 3 of us. I mean, obviously us 2 in direct relatability, of Stephen and Sharon's life and the legacy they built, the family they built, their kids being on camera. But also understanding that to get to the point where someone's husband, friends, family take the time, the effort, the money that it took to get this produced, like Sharon's legacy created, there's so much that the average person doesn't see. The sacrifice, the time it takes, the effort, the relationship building, the kindness, the consistency. And that was all just like permutating, is that the word? Permeating in every single person that we filmed and in the story that was told with this video. And so from a professional perspective, thank you. Blended Sense is better because of this. We learn, just like we learn with everything, and hopefully we can take those learnings and apply it to other people that want to do something like this in the future. And then as a personal, my gosh, we are all better people because of this. I got inspired, I got motivated, and I hope you guys did too.
Some special shout outs and thank yous to other people that helped out in this project. It definitely wasn't just us three. Alexandra, with Corcoran. She was basically an honorary Blended Sense member and an honorary part of the team, coordinated a lot of the back and forth with all the subjects that we were both sending videographers out to or needing a self-capture. She was in the weeds with all of them. So Alexandra, you really strapped the cape on.
Alexandra also helped Rob, our New York City captain, with his huge cart of equipment, pull it up to the freight elevator.
No, dude,
New York City snow, dirty snow on the ground, ice everywhere, and Alexandra came down, got in the trenches with us, and helped us up, and that was awesome.
No big deal. Speaking of Corcoran, Pam Lieben, CEO of Corcoran, offered up the not only the corporate office but the CEO's office within the corporate command center of Corcoran, this international brand, right? Barbara's legacy, namesake, for offering that up for 2 full days, leaving the equipment in it overnight, so Rob didn't have to take it back. That's man, what a gesture that was, and what an incredible setup. And then you heard Rob, but our the big thing about Blended Sense that businesses can trust, and one of the only ways we were able to pull this off is knowing that we could send out the best of the best anywhere in the world. And so Rob Garcia in New York City, Marbu Wisnat in Washington, D.C., DMV area, Isaac Dean in Los Angeles, Tony Chu in San Jose. Man, you guys all did a phenomenal job with a subject matter of going into a very sensitive topic and making sure that we got the best possible footage and the best experience for those people that were kind enough to spend their time doing that. So thank you guys for being pros. And then Russell Reed, lead editor, bringing the asset home, right? That's what he does. And so
you hear Barbara Corcoran, you hear her name, right? You assume, oh my gosh, this woman built this entire empire. And the fact is, she did, but she did it because she got the right people around her. She tells a story about how Sharon changed her entire business. Pam was a part of that organization early on, and Teresa, all these women, Angie, like literally Corcoran's enterprise was built on the shoulders and the backs of all these incredible women that were pioneering and making a way in a time where women were not easily, accepted in a boardroom like this.
Yeah.
And they did that.
Thank you for inspiring us. Thank you for trusting us. And thank you so much for letting us have a small piece in the incredible life of Sharon.